Good afternoon, Happy New Year, and this is a, oh, you can't see me, I'm going to raise it up a little bit, better. So, hope everyone's alright, and just finishing off the restoration of this Hohner Arietta, so I'm very happy with the treble side tuning, all sounds very nice. Now the bass side tuning is a different kind of thing altogether, it's a bit tricky, and I'll show you why. So first of all, I got the bass end here and the bass buttons. Now the reason it's a bit tricky, and I'll just try and show you, is the bass, when you press a bass button it plays more than one note at the same time, so it's difficult to tune or to see on the tuner when you've got the reeds in the accordion which note might be playing up. So if I just play one of the bass notes, so that one there, that's a C with a dimple, if you watch on here, it's playing, I'll just rest it on there a minute, those two notes there and that one there. Okay, so it's playing it's playing two notes there and one note there, and that's just the bass note. Now if I'm playing a chord, so I'll just play, say, C major, playing three notes, 1, 2, 3, to make the chord. So when you play the chord, if you can hear the chord's not quite in tune, it's difficult to work out which note is not in tune when they're all playing at the same time. So that's why it's quite tricky. So I'm going to do this tuning of the bass side in a series of steps. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the, well, I've taken out the chords reed block. So that will be this one here, and that will be sitting on there. So that's the one that's been activated when you play the chords. So it plays three notes at a time, and I'm going to tune that one first, and I'm going to leave the bass notes, single notes, reed block just for a minute. So I'm just going to start on the chords one, and I'll tell you how I'm going to do that. So I'm not going to put it back in the accordion for a minute to make things a little bit easier for myself. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bass chords reed block, if you like, and I'm just going to tune it as well as I can on the accordion table, because what I can do then is I can pop the reed block onto there, and as I use it up a little bit, hang on a minute, I can then isolate one note at a time and then check that on the tuner and tune it. So what I'm going to do is do that and tune these chord notes as carefully as I can on this bellows table here using my tuner, and then put them back into the accordion. Now I do know that when you put a reed block back into the accordion, it will change the pitch a little bit, but I'm going to do it here first, put it back in, and just have a listen to the chords and see if they sound good. If they sound good, I'll leave it as it is. If I think that some of those chords are sounding off, then I'll take it a step further and then try to isolate some of those notes to get it good. So to tune up these ones, all I'm going to do is just to do one side at a time. So just have one hole clear on the table, go through, tune them against the app using the same technique of filing and scratching, and then put these back in and see what it sounds like. So that's the next step. Okay. Good morning. So just wrapping up this Hohner Arietta refurbishment. I hope it's been useful, the little videos. I've enjoyed doing it. And so I've tuned the bass side chord reed block out of the accordion on the tuning table as well as I can. I've popped it back in again, and now I'm going to just run through the bass side chords to see if they sound acceptable or not, and hopefully they will, but if not, then I can do a little bit more tuning and be more specific. So let's have a little listen, see what they sound like. Start with C. Sounds nice. Next one. That's Good. Okay, so hang on. Whoa. Okay, so that's all the chords, and the nice thing is that just by tuning it out of the accordion to pitch and putting them back in, it sounds perfectly acceptable. Now, if it was the reeds on the treble side, you would have to do some extra fine tuning because it's more specific, it has to be more accurate because you're playing a melody and you can play single notes. But when you're playing a chord, you can not get away with, but it's got more leeway, more tolerance, if you like, to sound perfectly nice, even if you haven't done your final tuning of the chord reeds in the accordion. So actually it sounds absolutely fine to my ear, and I've been playing these accordions for years and years, but that sounds absolutely fine, so I'm not going to mess with that. So that's that bit done. And the next bit is the bass notes. Now to do this, it's a little bit tricky, because when you play a bass note, it plays two bass reeds together, but it also then plays two of the chord reeds as well at the same pitch. So playing a C, it plays two C bass reeds, but also plays two C chord reeds at the same time to get that bass note. So you get a really lovely bass, but you've actually got four notes playing all together. Now, that's when it gets a bit tricky, because if you've got a bass note that sounds a bit off, then you've got to think, oh, okay, which of those four notes is causing me the problems? Now, if I go through the bass notes, let's have a little listen to see what they sound like. So let's start on the C. Not sounding too bad, actually. There's one there. Sounds a little bit weird. That is a B. That's a B flat. It sounds a little bit sharp. One of those sounds a bit sharp on the push. So I've noticed that the B flat is sounding a bit sharp, but I don't really know which which note is playing sharp. It could be one of the higher ones, but so what I'm going to do now is take the reed block out, and I'll show you how I'm going to try to isolate where the kind of tuning problems on the bass notes could be. So just give me a tick. Okay, so just taking the bass side off. Now if I just bring this round, angle down a little bit, that might just have a touch here. So if I just remove these bass side reeds, just take off these little covers. So when I was playing the chords, I thought, oh yeah, great, they sound all good, but some of the bass notes were sounding a little bit off, particularly the B flat. So if I just take these, take these out for a second. And there. So if I go back to here, so if I said, so the C is just here. So remember the C. So it's playing those two bass notes there, and those two C notes there as well. So I was quite happy with these notes because I've tuned them in on the table and the chords sound nice. So, but I haven't really checked the tuning of these ones. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to tape all of these notes off to just get rid of those notes. So when I'm playing the bass chords next, these won't be playing at all, and then I'll just get them out of the way, and then I can just focus on these ones, the big ones, and just see if I can pick up any any differences or anything wrong, or any kind of pitch or tuning that's needed from these big ones. So I'm going to take these off, put the reed blocks back in, and then have another listen. So if I just get some tape, and the best tape to use, I've just got some electrical tape here, and just cut it to length. Just get a nice pair of scissors just to get nice and straight. Cut it to length, because this tape is easy to remove, doesn't cause any damage, because what you don't want to be doing is putting sellotape on there or something which would actually be quite hard to get off and would cause some damage to this felt that I'm sticking to. So nice and neat, one piece there. Cut another little bit, nice and straight. There we go. Second bit. So we've got those. There we go. Just got those covered over. Put the reed box back in, and let's have another listen to see if we can isolate some of those tuning problems on the bass notes. So I'll put it all back together and do it again. Hang on a second. Okay, so this is quite interesting. If I play the bass notes without the other notes I've taped off, it just sounds different, but it sounds interesting. So you can hear it's just got two notes playing there, and they're kind of an octave apart. Now as I'm going through, I can hear some issues if I just play these two bass notes together. So let's have a little listen. That sounds okay. That sounds a bit weird. That sounds okay. That sounds alright. Ah, there we go. B. Now if you listen to the B, on the pull sounds fine. On the push, I can hear a sharpness there. Now I can hear the two notes, and I know the sharp note is the higher of the two notes that are sounding. So the big growly bass one is fine. It's just that the one that's an octave up, I can hear that's playing sharp. So I can actually pick out between the two notes now which one's not playing right. You can hear. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make some notes on which notes on the push and the pull maybe needing sharpening or flattening, and so I'm going to make some notes in my little notebook, and then get the reed block out, and then just have a go at doing some work on those reeds. So now I'm going to go through and just have a listen to all of them and see if I can pick out which one is playing sharp or flat, and then I'll take the reed blocks out and then do some sharpening and flattening, and then put it back in again. Hey, okay, so I've had a tune up of the bass reeds by isolating the chord notes and then having a listen to the bass notes on their own and picking out them, any ones that were playing sounding sharp or high. And so I think this is sounding good. So I think getting pretty much now to the end of this now, so it's been a nice little journey. So what I'm going to do is put the grill back on. I'm going to put some new straps on because these are a little bit tired. I'll give it a final check over, little clean up, make sure everything's nice and polished, and then the final video, I'll have it all back together, all looking really shiny, and I'll just play a selection of tunes, and hopefully it will sound really nice. So here it is to finish off with for this little video, and then I'll put the next one up with it all like back together. There we are. Okay, see you next time.